today's general club discussion, we are going to talk about knockdown of HSV-G2. It is associated with the abnormal mandibular joint formation and neural crest cell dysfunction in zebrafish. So what is HSV-G2? HSV-G2 is nothing but a gene involved named as heparin sulfate proteoglycan 2. That gene is associated with the abnormal mandibular joint formation and neural crest cell dysfunction in zebrafish. So this gene is already involved in two syndromes, namely this Schwarz-Jakob syndrome and this segmental dysplasia. So in this these two syndromes, this HSV2 gene is altered and that causes some physical abnormalities in the patients. So now in this journal, they are going to assess the effect of this gene mutation on the TMJ development. So unlike other synovial joints, the TMJ joint is formed from the cranial neural crest cells and the periosteum. So the periosteum is also involved in this TMJ formation, unlike other synovial joints. So the novelty of this study is they just want to know the extracellular role of the extracellular matrix and the periosteum in TMJ development. And the deletion of the P-ligan, a primary component of the extracellular matrix, will disrupt the jaw joint formation. And they wanted to prove that HSV-G2 is essential for joint formation in the developing zebrafish. Now when we go to the materials and methods, first they isolated the animal models. That is the wild type fish, and the embryos were maintained in the E3 embryo medium at 20 degrees C, and an adult and larval zebrafishes were euthanized and anesthetized according to the guidelines. So this is an animal study, so it follows the guidelines. And then they use the antisense oligonucleotide morpholino design and microinjection. Antisense RNAs are used to alter the genetic information so that we get what mutant type of fish we want. That is called as a morpholino design. So two antisense oligonucleotide morpholino sequences were designed. The first was a translational blocking morpholino, and the second was a random control morpholino. So one was random control morpholino, the other one was blocking morpholino. The morphed experimental group is compared to either a random control group or wild type non-injected. Either they compared it to a wild type or a non-injected one or an injected random control morpholino. Then Alicia and Blue staining and imaging technique was used for the zebrafish larvae, which aged 5 days post-fertilization, that is BP. And they were stained with Alicia and Blue. The distance between the top of the Meckel's cartilage, that is the ventral component of the mandibular arch, and the top of the ceratohyoid, the laryngeal arch cartilage, was measured for each embryo as a method to analyze the truncation of the Meckel's cartilage. So they are going to find out whether the Meckel's cartilage truncates. That is the thing they are going to prove that HSV2 gene is involved in the dysfunction of the mandibular development, joint development. Whole mount in situ hybridization was done. So the larvae were then incubated overnight with the probe. They used the probe like DLX2 and NX3 at 70 degrees C and developed using anti-DAG equilibrium pattern antibodies with the AP substitute. And quantitative real-time polymerase chain reaction was performed, and then confocal imaging and transgenic cell counts were made, and the images were restricted to the larval craniofacial region. These were the results. So the morpholino induced knockdown of HSV-G2 is associated with the craniofacial phenotypes. So the immunohistochemistry staining revealed a positive expression of P-ligan in these regions from the embryos of 2 to 3 hours post-fertilization to 5 days post-fertilization. Injection of HSV-G2 translation blocking morpholino caused a 7% truncation in the zebrafish mandible when compared to the random control. So initially they did not show any changes, but once the days passed, they showed the truncation in the Meckel's cartilage. And the expression of the NTX3 is decreased in HSP-T2 morphines. In situ hybridization was performed at 2 days post-fertilization, which demonstrated decreased expression of NK3-2. And the neural crest cells migrate normally in the absence of HSP2. The migration of neural crest cells was not affected by the mutation of HSPG2. The DLX2 expression in morphines is unaffected. Likewise, the other expression was also not affected. But the HSP-T2 knockdown affects the cell numbers in the jaw joint region. So the 2PCR detected an increase in SOX10 expression at 3 days post-fertilization. However, at 4 days post-fertilization, the number of SOX10 cells were reduced relative to the random control injected embryos, and the level of SOX10 expression was approximately 50% of the control. So finally, they concluded that they have created a novel implication for the role of HSP-J2 in the development of the mandibular jaw joint region of the craniofacial skeleton, for which development has not been well elucidated. And further future studies to more cohesively understand the role of HSP-J2 in craniofacial development are needed. So these are the images.